Today we have liberated virtually all of the territory from the grip of these bloodthirsty monsters. Now, as we work with our allies to destroy the remnants of ISIS, it is time to give our brave warriors in Syria a warm welcome home.
President Trump last night highlighting the progress made against ISIS just hours after the top U.S. commander in the Middle East told Congress that ISIS will be defeated before the U.S. leaves Syria.
34,000 square miles of territory, which they once controlled, is now reduced to an area less than 20 square miles. But it is important to understand that even though this territory has been reclaimed, the fight against ISIS and violent extremists is not over, and our mission has not changed.
Meanwhile, a British government official is holding out hope for a British journalist held hostage for years by ISIS, saying there is reason to believe that John Cantley, seen here, is still alive. Florida Congressman Michael Waltz is a Republican on the Armed Services Committee. You fought for this country, and I wonder if you could tell us from your perspective, where do you think we go next in Syria?
Well, first of all, I just want to be clear, Dana, that the president as commander-in-chief deserves a lot of credit for taking the handcuffs off and destroying ISIS as a caliphate, as a country. But it is not destroyed as a movement. It is metastasizing all over the world and has done so. We just received testimony today about ISIS's growth from 2013 to 2018. So that's point one. Point two is we cannot be as effective from afar as we can with having a small footprint on the ground. The strategy is called by, with, and through. We have to be with our partners on the ground, and that is an investment that I think we should make to ensure ISIS now remains defeated and cannot come back again in a big way in Syria. And we've seen multiple reports and testimony that ISIS could come back very quickly. And in fact, the incoming general to the U.S. Central Command responsible for the Middle East said he still believes that ISIS is more powerful today than al-Qaeda in Iraq was years ago when President Obama withdrew too soon. So those are a lot of the concerns, and we have to keep our foot on the neck and stay on offense.
Let me ask you to respond to one of your colleagues there, Democrat Tulsi Gabbard. She has put in her name to run for president. She has already declared that she was going to challenge President Trump. She wants the Democratic nomination. She's got some peculiar views, I think, on this whole situation. Listen to what she said when she was asked about Bashar Assad today.
Do you think Assad is our enemy?
Assad is not the enemy of the United States because Syria does not pose a direct threat to the United States.
All right. I'll let you answer that, Mike.
Yeah, well, first of all, the Syrian regime and Assad in particular is certainly not our friend. I'd call him an adversary. They're aligned. Their closest allies are both Iran and Russia. Gassed and murdered. They've actually, the Assad regime has massacred more civilians than ISIS has. I think the point that's lost is that ISIS exists because of the massacres and because of the offenses of the Assad regime. So we can't solve that problem until Assad goes, I'm convinced. And he is certainly not a friend, and I think she needs to get a little more perspective there. By the way, Tulsi Gabbard has met with President Assad personally, which I think is a tremendous mistake. Finally, Dave, I want to make a point on hostages. We also have an American journalist, Austin Tice, who has been missing in Syria and believed still be alive now for over 5 years, and we can't lose sight of getting him home.
Well, you've been on missions where you try to find people that have been taken by the enemy. Any thoughts on what we should be doing now, or is it so classified we have to keep it a secret?
Well, we just need, that's all the more reason we need to stay engaged in that region. Look, we have to bring, if the regime has them or one of these other groups have them, we need to demand that before giving any concessions that we get all Americans home. That needs to be up front and center, like the president did in North Korea, before we have any other discussions.
All right. I had so many other questions for you: Afghanistan, Venezuela, North Korea, but I'll have to have you back, and we'll do it another time. Congressman Michael Waltz of Florida, thank you.